Hi, guys. Thank you for staying tuned for part two. We're going to talk about how you overcome shame, and this is through God's grace. Stay tuned. We do not have to live with shame because we have God's grace. Who knows grace? What does grace mean? Tell me in the comments. Y'all know what grace means? I'm going to tell y'all what grace means. Grace is the unmerited favor of God. The unmerited favor of God. Unmerited means undeserving, means you don't deserve the grace. You don't deserve the grace of God. It's given to you. You do not deserve the grace of God. That's like picking my child up from, daycare, and I get a report that, he didn't take his nap and he didn't eat half of his lunch and he wasn't listening to the teacher. But I had to stop at the store on my way home from work, and my son's with me and he asked me for some candy. He doesn't deserve that piece of candy that he just asked me for. He doesn't deserve it at all. But I give it to him. That's grace. That's me giving him grace. I buy it for him anyways. He didn't deserve it, but I bought it for him anyways. God has unmerited favor. The unmerited favor is grace. You did not deserve the grace of God, but He will cover you. He will cover you in love. The unmerited favor of God, that is grace. So God gives us grace. He gives us grace to make those mistakes. He died for our mistakes, for our sins, for our transgressions. You have grace. You have grace now. So walk in it. Walk in your grace. Walk in the power of grace. So 2 Corinthians chapter 12, 9 and 10. And I have been standing on this for a long time. And I'm even standing on it even harder now. Not only for the situation that I was going through back then, but this applies to anything. 2 Corinthians 12, 9 and 10. I'm going to literally read it from my Bible. So let me bring my Bible up here so I don't have to completely put my head down. But it says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made in perfect weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weakness, so that Christ's power may rest in me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I will delight in weakness, in insults, in hardships, in persecution, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am made strong." Did y'all catch it? Verse 10 said, "That is why, for Christ's sake, I will delight in weakness." Delight is to be happy, to be joyful. "I will be joyful in weakness, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties." What? How can you delight in weakness? And insults, when people are insulting you. And hardship, when you're going through. And persecution. And how do you delight? How do you be happy? How do you find your joy? How? It says for Christ's sake. So don't do it for you, but do it for God, because God's going to get the glory. No, you're not going to feel happy when people are insulting you. Matter of fact, that makes you feel the complete opposite. When I was pregnant with my second son, God knows the tremendous things that were spoken to me, about me on Facebook publicly, for people to say I was persecuted, I was humiliated, I was insulted. It was difficulty, and relying on my own strength, I couldn't do it. I ended up, trying to take my life. I ended up having suicidal thoughts. Really, honestly, tried to take my life. I ended up somewhere in Redding trying to get my mind together so that I can continue to raise my kids. Because at this point, I had Makai and Judah. Judah was just a baby. My second son was just a baby. He's almost 2 now, but he was just a baby. And I relied on my own strength. I relied on my own, my own being to get me through. And you can't do that, because it says, "My grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness." Meaning you don't got nothing else. You don't got nothing left. You're weak. God's power is what's going to uphold you. God's strength is what's going to hold you. It's made perfect in weakness. If you're not weak, if you're already strong, then you don't need no power. If you're already strong, you don't need no power. So it says, "For my grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast." Boast. Y'all know what boast means? Boast means to brag. It says, "I will brag all the more gladly about my weakness." Can y'all honestly say y'all do that? that you boast about your weakness, that you brag about your weakness. But it says, for God's sake, for Christ's sake, I will delight, I will be happy, I will have joy in weakness, in insults, in hardship, in persecution, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am made strong. You cannot be made strong if you are not weak. You cannot be whole if you have not been broken. Did y'all get that? Let me say it again. You cannot be strong if you have not been weak. You cannot be made whole if you have not been broken. You cannot be whole if you have not been broken. I made this entire channel, I made this entire page for y'all. For y'all. Because I didn't know this. I didn't know what I'm reading to you right now. I didn't have the scripture then to stand on. I didn't have this revelation to stand on when I was going through. Because I let the devil have me. I let him have my mind. I let him have my body. I let him have everything. I felt defeated. There are still times I feel completely defeated. There are still times I feel completely defeated. But it says, for Christ's sake, I will boast in my weakness. For me, as a single parent, maybe for you as a single parent, as a single mom, as a young single mom, maybe for you that weakness are your kids, or maybe, you know, your weakness is you still dealing with that shame of bearing those kids. I still feel like that. I still feel like I could have done this or been there or been this much further if I didn't have them, if I hadn't chose that situation. I feel like I could have been, you know, there's times where I feel like I could have been further. I could have been doing this. I could have been doing that. You know, I could have been like my friends doing this, been like my friends doing that, taking trips, doing this. You know, I could have this. I could have that. But no, instead, it says, delight in your weakness. And insults. People are going to insult you, yeah. Yeah. Hardships. Trying to make ends meet. And persecutions. And difficult times. And difficult times. For when I am weak, then I am made strong. You cannot be strong without being weak. You cannot become whole without being broken. You have to learn. You have to trust the process. You have to be happy in the process. Know that when you're going through what you're going through, that you're going to come out victorious, that you're going to come out a different person, that you're going to come out stronger, that you're going to come out better, that this is going to make you better, that you're going to be stronger mentally, that you might be stronger, you know, physically, that you may be stronger spiritually because you've been broken. God's grace is sufficient. God's grace is sufficient. For my power is made perfect in weakness. God can show you his power when you're weak. He can show you when you don't have nothing. You know, he can show you his power. He can change it. He can turn it around for you. 2 Corinthians 12, verse 9 and 10. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast. I will brag all the more gladly about my weakness, so that Christ's power may rest on me. Give it to God. Give it to God. Say, God, I can't do this. I can't handle this. You know, this is how I'm feeling. Tell him. Tell him what your weakness is. Tell him you are weak. I need your help. I need your strength. I need your power. I need you to come through for me. I need you to help me, so that Christ's power may rest on me. Verse 10, that is why, for God's sake, if I want the power of God, for his sake, I'm going to delight in my weakness. I'm going to be happy in my weakness. I'm going to keep pushing in my weakness. I'm going to keep a smile on my face in my weakness. I'm not going to be nasty to people in my weakness. I'm still going to be nice to people in my weakness. I'm still going to respect people in my weakness. I'm not going to defame people in my weakness and insults. In my hardships, I'm not going to let the devil get me. I'm not going to let him have my mind. In persecution and in difficult times, I'm not going to do that. It says, I will delight in my weakness. For Christ's sake, I will delight in my weakness. For when I am weak, then I am made strong. I'm going to come out victorious. I'm going to be strong. After I go through this, I'm going to be strong. And who's going to get the glory when it's all over and said and done with? Who's going to get the recognition when it's all said and done with? You ain't do it alone. God helped you. God gave you his power so that his power may rest on you. So that his power may rest on you. For when I am weak, then I am made strong. So my prayer today for you guys is that if you've dealt with shame, if you've dealt with feeling ashamed, if you've dealt with, embarrassment, feeling guilty about something, if you've dealt with that, give it to God. Give him your weakness. Give him what you're struggling with. Give him what you're upset about, what's really perturbing you. Give him how you feel. Give it to him. Give it to him. Because the power of God is going to rest on you. The power of God is going to rest on you. Stay in his face. I'm learning that now, to stay in his face. Because I want all that he has for me. So I'm going to stay in his face. I need to know. I need you to tell me. I need to know how to move. I need to know where I'm going next. Where's the direction? Tell me. Tell me. I want to know. Because I want the power when it's all said and done. I want when it's all said and done, I'm going to be empowered. When it's all said and done, I'm going to be victorious. When it's all said and done, I am going to be strong. I am going to be strong. And so this is why I have the Single Mother's Diary, guys, because this helped me. This gave me some revelation for somebody. Somebody needs to know that the power of God is going to rest on you when you give it to him, when you delight in your weakness, when you delight in those persecutions, when you delight in those situations that are happening, and those things that are being said in those difficult times. Know that God is God and that his grace is sufficient, that you didn't deserve it, but he's going to give it to you anyways. He wants to show you. He's going to give it to you anyways because he wants to show you. But you have to trust him. You have to trust God. You have to trust God. So I just pray right now that you guys were blessed. If you like this video, if you learned something from this video, if you've dealt with shame, if you're going to go and read these scriptures, if you're going to go and try to gain an understanding, if you're going to go and you're going to give it to God, if you are going to go and you're going to and you're going to do what you're going to do, like this video, subscribe, help somebody, help somebody. Help somebody. I no longer deal with shame. I don't feel ashamed that I have 2 kids at 25. I don't feel ashamed that I didn't finish college when I didn't finish college, like the rest of my friends that graduated in 2015. I was a little salty in 2015, absolutely. But at the same time, my journey is not their journey. My path is not their path. We all walk different paths. We all have different journeys. Our lives are not going to go the same. It's not meant to. It's not meant to. So you have to walk your walk. You have to walk your walk. God has promises just for you. He has a plan just for you. It's not going to look like everybody else's. It's not going to be everybody else's. It's not going to be everybody else's. So when you overcome, when you get through that thing, when you get through and you push through whatever it is, know that you're going to be strong. You're going to be strong. So that when that next thing comes to you, when that next situation, that next problem, that next whatever it is, you're a little bit more stronger. And then God may have to show you more power. He may have to show you more of his power to get you through the next thing. But you got to keep walking. 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 You got to keep walking to get to where you're going. And know that your plan, your life is your life. It's not going to look like nobody else's life. It's not going to look like nobody else's life. And for my young mommies out there, the ones as young as me or younger, you doing all right. You're going to be all right. You're doing all right. Pray. Give it to God. He is there for you. He knows all things. He knows the plans that he has for you. He knows where you're going. He knows where you're headed. Whoa. That wasn't cool. But I pray that this encouraged you. I pray that this blessed you. Please share the video. Please like the video. Please subscribe to my channel. This is a Single Mother's Diary. We will be here every Saturday.